Good afternoon to you, the Mayor of Sal, dear friends in here, families of Desiree Bonafou, people representing all the levels of society, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read a paper. First, to go straight to the point, and when we have a question of time and I have to write something, and so I have it written here. Let me discipline myself and read. I will start this presentation to cherish all those in here present in a very special way, the Mayor of Sal. Also to the families of Mr. Desiree Bonafou, and who are going to be present via live stream. And this is one of the things that technology allows us to do. We have in our hands this work, Música Popular Antiga from Cabo Verde. Something that was produced. It was done through investigation. It was written by a very sensible man that was really interested in researching and for his fulfillment. And he understood it very well, and he wanted to share his findings. The scenery, it's not of an academical research. This publication is not exclusively for the intellectual people. It's for normal people, and he goes along with many other writers that has discussed and talked about this work. So it's not really an academic work. Mr. Desiree Bonafou, he understood it very well, that the genesis of a nation is concentrated in the needs of his people, and the memories as testimonies of the past, as understanding of people, those who habilitate people to help in the dialogue with the nations. He understood the enrichment of culture and his patrimony. Mr. Desiree Bonafou, he did it all, and he is among the pioneers of those who consider the Cape Verdean music, and especially through Morna. After these first notes, let's take care of this work and see what he did, his dimension and his depth. As I said, we are in presence of a searcher. A searcher is called to be all those who daily they go beyond themselves to find ways to maintain life and to share memories as individual, as collective. In fact, we are dealing with someone who went after and chase memories, as Balthazar would say. Desiree Bonafou, it seems that he didn't forget all those ancient understandings, and he goes deep into remote memories in the 19th century, as he refers to interesting registrations of the 20th century. Registrations before what he said in the 19th century, there is none. So, he actually goes along with those who says that Morna was born in Boa Vista, as it was said by Eugênio Tavares. And from there, from Boa Vista, it went to other islands, and then it was adapted to different islands according to each people. He knew very well this environment in Boa Vista, and this book takes a very special position in all the registration regarding music in Cabo Verde. Desiré Bonafou is able to give us a very spectacular vision when he talks about the society, the multi-discipline, when we talked about the ludic, the satiric, and the love, when he talked about Boa Vista in the 19th century. The testimonies and what he showed in the 19th century, when he talked about this Boa Vista that is very well known for the intrigue, the daily intrigue, the love affairs, and with everything that happened post-war. And Boa Vista was placed that received so many political fighters. And according to, and the same way as Mairie de Sal, he received some very important diplomatic people. And in the 19th century, Boa Vista, discussing with Praia the honor to be the capital of Cabo Verde. And this all come together as Morna came up to be one of the music in Cabo Verde. His research is done especially with the normal people. Desiré Bonafou brought up his capacities as he gave some details and some music. He goes very deep to dig deep to find out the origin, to work in passing on the oral tradition with all its virtue and also with all its limitations, his beauty and his lacks. Also the deviations, the amputations and the adulteration that doesn't go well with our music. Anyway, this oral tradition is one of the most important way in Cabo Verde to pass on the testimonies. Of course, not all those who did it before did it as well as Desiré Bonafou did. When he started in 1908 and on, he discussed issues that the origin of Morna, as Eugênio Tavares. He brings us so many informations. For instance, the titles that differs the different musical genre in Cabo Verde. The poetry, the melody, the styles of each composition, everything Desiré Bonafou did in his research to compare with musics and genre from other parts of the world. His testimony of the popular heritage, especially those deepen in the population, in the people. If he wouldn't do that, these memories would be simply lost on the way. He's got memories, collective memories, not only from the past, but also from people he lived with and he knew. He is responsible to bring these testimonies from the past to the present, like mornas, coladeiras, valsas, arias, and 50s. You see this preoccupation when Desiré Bonafou detailed the different genre of music, and he refers to Luís Tavares de Almeida, Luís Handel, Tututa, Évora, and many others. When he brings up memories, we have to talk and bring Desiré Bonafou not as an academic person, but as a practical person, and we want to put him in the gallery of the researchers, the one who pass on memories. Among many other aspects of him, we should refer his efforts to, whenever possible, to contextualize the social coordinates and the social arguments, so to say, the history and the social environment when these compositions took place. Such qualities allows historians, psychologists and others experts to go deep into the people's life and to bring up the most of the population's habits and traditions. Many of the poems that supports the melodies to the link with our underground and to our past. This is something that's really substantive when society and people in society are interested to go deep into the history and the social lives. People in society, they request to know and they need to know their story, their legends. In our case, for us to be beyond myth, we need poems and poetry and melodies. And these are the stock of memories. This is exactly what Desiré Bonafou gives us. He is very sensitive to all of this. The methods of Desiré Bonafou are as big as he goes with the music of Cabo Verde. He goes and searches for the truth about the beginners as he goes and to find this research transforms into different people as he considers them personally and as persons or as society.
Não ficam sem referência a facilidade, a sensibilidade e o interesse com que o Sr. Desiré Bonafou manuseia tanta informação.
We cannot go without referring the way his wisdom, his capacity that developed his story and all his human capacity to put together. It's how to say, what can you do about yourself? What can you bring to us regarding to our memories? Through investigation, he understands the most important questions and answer them in the way possible.
Acabam constituindo actos de extrema nobreza e cidadania no partilhar civicamente as
shared
alcançadas.
His findings, we consider that as an action of citizenship, and he wants to preserve them, not to be lost in the way or not to be betrayed without.
partilhador.
as Desiree Bonafou did, a great partnership and a sharing from his heart.
Do suporte de partituras musicais.
One of the very important things is that he shares the written music of
As
these
transmissões
melodies.
assumem três formas de passagem.
In that way,
Primeiro,
we
a
find three
transmissão
ways:
direta e
the
personalizada
direct
por
transmission
criadores
and
de suportes
personalized
poéticos
by
e
those who
literários.
wrote the
Primeira
music.
via. Segunda via,
The
a
second way,
transmissões por interpostas pessoas.
the transmission via other people, those who interpret the music in circumstances. They act according to the memories, and it's very, very difficult for them to read a story or sing a song without saying something and adding something else.
Transmitiu em virtude dos tais vícios e limitações da oralidade. Estou a querer ilustrar a vantagem da escrita. Por fim, temos uma
Finally,
terceira via, as
we had a
gravações.
third way,
Enquanto os
the
sistemas de
recording.
comunicação, transmissão e
When we
socialização,
record
com as
music, we
interpretações
preserve
trazendo
them
méritos na
and
fixação
we
das
bring
versões
up
nos discos.
memories and
Pelo
methods.
oval, as discografias fazem escola. Infelizmente, muitas gravações
Unfortunately,
nem sempre correspondem
lots of
àquilo
recording
que o autor
doesn't,
inspirou a quem vai
in
interpretar.
fact,
Então,
transmit
é um
the
problema
feelings of the
complicado no
author.
nosso meio, essa via da oralidade
So
e das transmissões
this
na oralidade.
orality thing, it's very important, but
Essas
it tends to get
considerações
lost
é
through the way.
propósito do uso de partituras, umas vezes da lavra do Senhor,
As we consider this,
outras vezes
we
com o
ought to
auxílio do
refer this
estrangeiro.
written music.
Portanto, os registros tornam-se
All these
preciosos
registration
tanto para os
are so
estudiosos de
precious,
música,
not
como na
only
área
for
internacional,
those who
estrangeiros
sing, but especially
que
for the
queiram
students
interessar pela
and
música
for the
cabo-verdiana e que,
international
dentro da partitura, lhe possam dar
students
sonoridade e conteúdo.
who want to study Cape Verdean
Nesta
music.
apresentação não ficam distantes os elementos biográficos de
We
referência
cannot
do
go
Sr.
without
Bonafou,
referring
que
to
os
Desiree
pais
Bonafou
não
and his
vou
personality, so I'm not going to talk about it, this person. He
Temos
was already.
conhecimento do trabalho desde 1987.
We know this work
Em
since
87, era eu
1987.
diretor-geral da animação
At
cultural, alta era a preparação
1987,
do
I was
primeiro
one of
até
the
este
manager,
único encontro de música nacional. O Sr. Didier
and
Bonafou
Desiree Bonafou
mandou este livrinho
sent
ao encontro,
this book.
que eu guardo
to
como uma
this,
relíquia há 37 anos,
I shared this
Ainda
book
em
with me
versão
for 37 years.
copiada.
It was polycopied,
Ora, é nesta mesma versão
so it's in the
policopiada
same
que
version,
agora aparece
polycopied,
em
that
edição
now we have this
facsimilada.
edition, this facsimile.
E entre os dois trabalhos
So between
há
these two
algumas
works,
diferenças,
there are some differences,
coisas de pouca monta,
things that
cheio de tempo,
not so
não sei se
important.
vou poder apresentar. Por exemplo, aqui vem um apêndice 2
So here we have appendix 2 in Portuguese.
e na
In the
outra vem um
original,
apêndice
it doesn't have. We have an appendix 1.
Na versão agora facsimilada, ele cita almanacs,
In this
cadernos, coleções,
in this last version,
revistas,
he
dicionários.
mentions almanac, magazines, and dictionaries.
Algumas diferenças.
There's some
Pontos comuns.
small
Em
differences,
ambos os casos,
but
ele
in
faz
both
grande
cases he
descritivo da
describes
música tradicional
deeply
cabo-verdiana.
the traditional
Este
music of
descritivo
Cabo
tem
Verde.
muito valor quando
This
muitas
is
vezes
very, very
lidamos
important,
com
especially
definição
when
de
we deal
conceitos
with
e com a
concepts
forma estética
and
de cada
definitions
tipo
of
de composição
statics and
reveste.
forms.
Ele dá preciosas
And
informações
Desiree Bonafou
a este
gives
respeito.
very precious information regarding these topics.
Ele refere as bases populares. Apresentam
My apologies to you that are listening because I don't have access to the speech and he is very deep. I'm trying to summarize what he's saying, so I hope
umas
you
vezes com letra,
bear
outras
with
vezes
me and understand what I'm
sem
trying to
isso.
do.
Tanto a policópio como o facsímile apresentam
In both works, the one he was published 37 years ago and this last one, he goes and he challenges us to listen.
cabe efetivamente reconhecer e agradecer
Indeed,
ao Senhor
and say thank you to Desiré Bonafou,
testemunhal de memoriais
his testimony
que ele
of all the
cumpre como
memories,
acto civilizacional e cívico,
as he considered
com
them an
capacidade de
act of
partilha
civilization,
aliada a cívicas preocupações expressas neste sentido.
when he
Ele
expressed
faz com
himself,
afeto, técnica e
when
poderosa pedagogia
he did whatever he
comunicacional. Cabe
has in this
igualmente
with a
felicitar os
very
familiares
professional
dele,
way.
a quem
To the
dirigir as mais
families,
afetuosas saudações e
my
considerações,
greetings, very special
bem
greetings to
como
you,
agradecimentos
family.
pelo envolvimento
Thank you
neste
for your
preservar de
involvement in
memórias.
this preservation of
Se o presente
memories.
trabalho merece espaço
If
e
this work
consideração na
needs a
Galeria
space and
Cabo-Verdiana,
a presentation in a
as ilhas de
Cape
Boa
Verdean
Vista e do
gallery,
Sal
the
deverão
islands of
ser
Boa
particularmente
Vista and
gratas por
Sal,
todas as
you should be
razões que o Sr.
grateful for
Presidente já
all
aqui
the reasons that the mayor has said,
faria minhas com a sua
and
licença.
of course I will
Cabe
sign
felicitar
that.
a Associação Perle de Sal,
Of course, so
e com
Mairie de
ela
Sal,
os familiares, uma
we would
vez mais,
like to
do
say
Sr.
thank you to you
pelo
and to the family
bem-sucedido
with you,
mergulho nos nossos
and that
antecedentes,
this
que
will
tanto nos
succeed
empolgam
deepen
como nos
into the
angustiam
music and into
quando
this
os vemos
research.
perder-se desvanecidos da memória. Nós, entretanto,
When we
ficando
need to
ciosos,
preserve and to conserve
perdidos
memories,
e ansiosos
because without
por
memories
poder
we have no
outra vez
story and we are
sobre nós
lost
próprios. Beatos
about
nós.
ourselves.
As
Well
felicitações
done.
estendem-se também à Câmara Municipal do
To
Sal,
Câmara Municipal do Sal, our
pelo seu
felicitation
envolvimento neste
for your
projeto.
involvement in this project.
Pessoalmente, sinto-me também eu
Personally,
honrado
I
e
felt
grato,
honored
porquanto em
and
menos de
grateful
ano é a segunda
because
vez que me
in less
apanho
than
no
1
Sal,
year,
sempre envolto
this is the
em
second time
lançamentos,
I'm
no
here
último dia
in
25
Sal
de fevereiro.
for
Decorrida que ainda
things
uma muito pequena parte
regarding
do
to
ano de
music.
2023, e renova as
We are still in the very
saudações
beginning
a
of
todos
this
quantos se encontram
year
nesta sala,
2023. My greetings to all of you here
aos
in this
familiares
room,
do Sr. Bonafou,
to the families of
auguro para
Mr.
todos
Bonafou,
muita vida e saúde,
to you
e
all
principalmente,
life and health,
juntamente com muitos frutos também de ordem cultural.
and all this,
Ao que fui
and may this
informado,
book
o
bring,
Sr. Visio Bonafou tem ainda outros
as
esforços.
I was
Será
said, told,
importante,
Mr. Bonafou has
conseguir-se
yet
uma
other
plataforma de
writings.
entendimento com os
It's just a question of negotiations with all those who have them and see what kind of continuity we can give
memórias de
to these
freelancer e com
memories of this freelancer writer.
E antes de terminar,
And before we finish, if you allow me,
o Sr. Didier Bonafou
let me tell you that Desiré Bonafou in 1987 inspired me,
bons compositores de Boa Vista
and two good composers from Boa Vista
completar o seu centenário
that
em 2019,
completed their
e outro
century
agora em
in
2022,
2019-22.
coletasse toda a
So I
produção
collected
deles
all their
e
productions,
ajeizarasse em livro que obedece a uma matriz que de alguma forma tem inspiração no
and
Sr.
these writings of these two books are
Dados
all the
biográficos,
same principles
quando vê a
of
proposta
Desiré
dos
Bonafou's book.
compositores, que muitas vezes tem a
It
ver
gives
com a
all the
história de Cabo
details
Verde,
of the identification of
exaração
musicians,
poética das suas obras,
exalt the
exaração
poems of their
na
works,
pauta musical,
the
uma
written
leitura
music,
de caracterização que a gente
a
poderia
reading
chamar,
that we characterize as a
psicossocial, porque cada
psychosocial
composição tem uma
reading,
história, tem um
because
enquadramento,
each composition has a
uma
story.
leitura poética
It's a
e, por fim, uma leitura
poetry reading
musicográfica ou
and
musicológica.
also
Serviu-me
music reading.
para adotar este figurino
So
e para adotar
I
este tipo
took
de
over
exposição.
this image
Estes
from
dois
Desiré
livros,
Bonafou.
hoje em dia é do Sr. Didier
These
Bonafou.
two
De todo
books,
modo, se porventura,
I
hoje,
inherited them
hoje
from
em dia do
Desiré
Sr.
Bonafou.
Se porventura alguém os quiser adquirir, depois faça saber ao Sr. Vereador. Ao Sr.
If anyone wants to buy these two books,
Então,
you can talk to
chegada
the
esta
mayor
altura,
or anyone from
não
the
me
Camera.
resta senão
At this
agradecer
point
a
in
todos
time, let me just
atenção
say
por
thank you for your
escutar e dizer
attention
que graças ao
and say
Sr.
that
Didier Bonafou,
due to Desiré
seu
Bonafou
pioneirismo,
and his
e
pioneering,
depois com estes dois,
and after
os
with
maiores e os
two
melhores de sempre da Boa
biggest
Vista,
and greatest from
a
ever
ida
in Boa
hoje está
Vista,
neste momento numa plataforma de dar uma contribuição interessante
The island of Boviște is at this moment in a way to give a special contribution to the preservation of Morna. Here we are talking about other composers in Boviște and also here in Sal. So thank you all, and a good reading from Desire Bonafou.